What's going on, my little firecrackers? Blazing What Ifs here, blazing his way into another video. Now, news. I am almost completely finished with, the, What If Deku Was in One Piece Part 7. So, if I have enough time, I will finish it today, and I will record it today. No promises. All I can tell you is that it's like twice as long as the other scripts I've written, which means it's probably going to be closer to 2 hours than an hour. Now, beyond that, who the fuck knows? Now, I just wanna show a little something to you. Here we're on my Wattpad, Blaze 151. This is Seawolf Izuku. It's the story that I'm going to be creating from What If Deku Was in One Piece. Now, I've already put 2 parts in, as you can see here. We'll go in as viewer. These are just harems. This has been edited. I had to do this multiple times because I forgot a few folks. This is in the order of which he has met them, not necessarily in the order of which he joined the harem, hence why Alvida is there already. He met Kyoko, then Nami, then Momo, then Ochako, then Sue, then Vivi, then Itsuka, then Setsuna, then Robin, then Mei, then Rumi, then Ryuko. Oh, and then this is spoilers. Later he will meet Nijire, Nana Shimura, Khalifa, Don't Ask Questions Yet, Shoka Todoroki, gender bent, obviously. I think she is the only gender bent person. Rei and Fuyumi, because I like cucking Endeavor. And then Perona. And as you can see, here's the little thing telling you to go to my YouTube channel. And if you want to actually hear the story, as it will take me some time to write Chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4, as I never wrote scripts for those parts, and so Chapter 1 will just be everything I discussed in Part 1 in, written format. And then we're going to move on to the next one, and I kind of don't know exactly from here on out, but yeah, basically Kami's gonna be there. Jewelry Bonnie. That's a. Then these are all the girls he'll meet on Amazon Lily when he goes there. Which Toga, Nomori, Psycho, Ibarra, Margaret, I think is how you pronounce that, and then Hancock, and then Madame Charlie. I think that's how you pronounce that. Shirahoshi. And Monet. Don't ask questions, I won't be answering them, you'll just have to wait. And then Mina, Rebecca. These are people I don't know. I only know exist, but I have not seen, as I only watch the English dub of the anime. So I know she exists, but I don't know anything about her. So we got Rebecca, got Carrot. Read what it says there. Like I said, all I know is that she exists, and don't give hate. Let the furries have their fun. We don't discriminate here. We really don't. We don't kink shame here. We don't kink shame on this channel. We don't kink shame on my Wattpad, okay? I will literally delete your comments if you do. It's just not cool for anybody, okay? It's not cool. Don't do it, please. It's not okay. And we're gonna have a little fight scene with Sanji after that one, maybe. I don't know. I don't know his relationship with his sister. I know she's a fucking assassin or something, and he uses poison. That's about it. Yeah. And then, like I said, anime only person, only watch the dub, so would know nothing about anything that happens in the sub. Because I cannot stand the Japanese dub. Yeah. That's how it works. Anyway, so haven't figured it out yet, which I don't know why you should have. You clicked on the video, which means you know the title. This is What If Deku Was a Dragon Slayer, Part 5. And we left off right at the what's it called? The whole Tournament. That's the word I'm looking for. Tournament. So basically, what would happen is we're gonna just get through Shinzo's really quickly. It's a quick fight. Obviously, I don't like Shinzo's mentality in the beginning, where he is so reliant on his quirk. I don't like that mentality. I think it's a very stupid mentality. Just like I think Izuku not training whatsoever, even though he wanted to be a hero, he did zero, absolutely no training whatsoever. I find that to be very, very stupid, because it's not like he couldn't have, it's that he didn't try to, and I find it to be very, very stupid. And it's like, on the writer's part, he just didn't want him to be overpowered by giving him more than 5% of One For All, and damaging his bones to the point where he can't use his arms at all anymore. But because plot, he can use it to, like, write and stuff that you normally need your arms to do, instead of having someone force feed him and take down his notes and do his tests for him, because he couldn't fucking use his arms to do it for himself. Anyway, rant over. No, that's just what I find stupid about it. But hey, this is, like, from what I know, it's one of his first, mangas that he's ever written. So he'll get better with time, guys. And at least we can hope that he gets better with time. But everybody does, so, well, okay, maybe not everybody, but we can assume that he wants to get better, and therefore he will get better with time. Yeah. Basically what's gonna happen here is, he's gonna tell Shinzo that he's being stupid and over-relying on his quirk, basically, and then, just throw him out of the ring, because, yeah, it's that simple. He literally holds back quite a bit and does a blood dragon thing, which sends him straight flying into a wall of the stadium, which, in case you didn't know, that's pretty far away from the little sectioned off area they have for the tournament, so that's pretty far away. And Izuku then heals his injuries, but he's still unconscious, so Shinzo gets taken to the infirmary. But that was more so that Shinzo would understand why he needs to toughen his body, not just rely on his quirk, because he's going to need to be able to take hits, and he needs to be able to dish out hits if he truly wants to be a hero. All of them go the same, except until we get to Kirishima and Tetsu. And Tetsu, for those of you who don't know, Tetsu's first name and last name are the exact same. Who does that? Like, who names their child their last name? Like, that just doesn't make sense, but okay. Anyway, Kirishima actually wins without having to do the arm wrestling match, because, as Izuku tends to do, whether he likes you or not, if he likes you, then he encourages you, gives you positive support to, he keeps encouraging you to do better and better and better. Whereas with, the people he doesn't like, Bakugo, Shoto, well, doesn't like or doesn't know. So Bakugo doesn't like, Shoto doesn't really know. Or Shinzo, just now. He'll be more of a cruel towards you, like, hey, he'll be blunt, basically. He's like, hey, you're being stupid, you fucking idiot, just, come on. You know what I'm saying? He's like, you're doing that so very wrong, and you don't even realize you're doing it wrong. But, with Kirishima, it's like constantly lifting her up, and, continuing to, and which helps her become stronger and stronger, so she'd be stronger than she is in canon, just like Shoto, and Bakugo would be stronger in canon, as well as Ochako, because she would also be inspired by Zuku. I think I know what his name would... Izuku's gonna make his hero name. I'm not certain on it. I want it to be a mixture of blood and dragon in Japanese. I know the word for dragon in Japanese is Ryu, at least I believe it is. But I don't know the word for blood, and I want it to be like a kind of like a mixture of the two. So I'm gonna need your guys' help on that, and I'm just gonna trust what you tell me. So please be nice. But Kirishima would end up winning against Tetsu because she's much stronger than she was in canon, and in the canon they were just equally matched. Bakugo and Uraraka, that's gonna go more or less the same. You know what I'm saying? It's because they're both even more powerful than they were in the anime. However, the increase is still the same. So the matchup is still going the same, just with bigger explosions and stronger attacks from Ochako's side. Now we move on to Izuku and Todoroki. Actually, I forgot to say this at the beginning, but this is like the third time I've recorded this. The first time the video got corrupted, which I'm actually glad it did, because I made Izuku too overpowered in that. Or rather, I should say, I made Shoto and Bakugo too underpowered. Because they were supposed to get a lot stronger, and then I just explained it all wrong. So I'm glad the video got corrupted, and I got to redo this. The second time, I just ran out of time, and the house started getting loud. I'm just like, I'll record it later, and which is why I'm doing it now. Anyway, you didn't come here for me to rant in the middle of a what if. You came for me to do the what if. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway. Now, this is gonna be mostly Izuku just destroying all the ice coming at him from Todoroki. He's just like, Todoroki, come on, stop being stupid. Like, do you realize what you're doing is so stupid? Hold on, let me pull out my giant whiteboard out of nowhere and give you all of the reasons for why this is so stupid. 1, you want to be the most powerful, but you can't be the most powerful if you're not using all of your power. It's impossible. No matter what you're doing, everyone else is using 100% of their power, but you're only using 50%, which means that you'll never be the most powerful, because everyone else is always using 100%, and they're going to keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger, increasing the power that their 100% gives them. Well, your 50% will never be able to reach that. If you use 100%, then you'll be able to reach that. But you see, you want to be stupid and use only 50%. You can't get stronger unless you're using 100% of your power. That's all I'm saying. You will only make yourself weaker by not using all of your power. I used an accent there, and I'm sorry. Anyway, moving on. So, yeah, there's that. Yeah. Basically what happens here is, Todoroki, basically the same, like, conversation saying, like, it's your power, not his. Sorry, I get into accents so much because I like doing them so much that I just end up doing it randomly. So I'm sorry. Yeah. So basically what happens is, Todoroki ends up using his fire both out of rage and understanding that he won't be able to... that his power is his own, and that, he can't be the strongest. It's literally impossible for him to be the strongest if he's not using 100% of his capabilities. And basically, now that, now Izuku is forced to go all out in human form. So, blood dragon fangs, jaws, fucking Blood Dragon Breath, Blood Dragon Wing attacks. Like, it's going ham. Like, this is being destroyed, and because even though Todoroki hasn't really been training with his fire side, having both of them come at you at once is basically going to give you hypothermia because of the rapid change in temperature. Like, getting frozen with ice and then completely burned with fire, your body is going to go from, however cold Todoroki's ice is, to however hot his flames can get, like, in a few seconds. That's not good. That's very bad. Your body is not meant to change temperatures that quickly. Shut up. Okay. But so they're basically on par at this point, and they're both about to let out, the biggest attack they can, charging up all their power, or to go into this one final attack. And but what Izuku does right before is he stomps both of his feet into the cement, cementing himself in place, as Cementoss, does the same thing he does in canon, brings up a bunch of cement, thinking that, one of them's gonna die, and, Izuku lets out his strongest blood dragon roar, as, Todoroki lets out as much from the ice and fire as he can into a singular attack. What happens is they're both completely destroyed, like, entirely. And I believe I said before that Izuku is as strong as Prime All Might in his human form. So that really shows you how powered up I'm making these people if they're going to be on par with him. Basically what ends up happening is, because Izuku is in place, the force from the explosion that happens of the two colliding, Todoroki gets sent back out of the battlefield, but he's in place. But he's still in place, like, forcing himself against the wind so that he doesn't fucking rip his fucking ankles off. But if he did, he'd be fine, because Blood Dragon, freaking sacred art, yeah. That's a thing. So then we're gonna move on to the next match that has changed. Tenya versus Ibarra, or Ida versus Ibarra, whatever you want to call it, whatever you're comfortable with. That goes about the same, because Tenya does the same thing that he does in canon, just pushing her out of the ring. I'm going to say this now. If there's a fourth strongest person in Class 1A, it's probably Tokoyami. I don't care what you say. Tokoyami is definitely the fourth strongest in 1A. Guy or girl, he's the fourth strongest in 1A. Even in canon. Just saying. Anyway, Bakugo versus Kirishima. Now this battle would actually be pretty interesting, because Kirishima's quirk in this, I'm going to say, is the more you hit him, or her in this case, the harder she will get, which means that the longer she fights, the harder it is to do any damage, which means you have to get her in, like, one big blast. Now, Bakugo knows this, and, Kirishima knows that Bakugo knows this, so she's trying to rush in and hit him before he can charge up a big attack. However, it's too late, as he's put himself in the air somewhere where, like, way out of her reach to do one big attack. She tries to dodge, but the force sends her out of the ring, and she loses, unfortunately. Anyway, so what's gonna happen here is now we have Ida and Izuku, because Izuku won that match with Todoroki. It's pretty simple. Ida tries to use his reciprocal burst, but come on, this is Izuku we're talking about. I don't know if it was in a different video I explained this, or if it was one of the previous recordings, but in his dragon form, he could go from the most north in Japan all the way to the farthest south in Japan in like an hour when he's in his dragon form. And in Dragon Force, it would probably only take him like 4 hours. Or would it be 8? Yeah, 8 hours. Take him 8 hours. But like, so like, come on. Like, I'm just saying, he's a fast mother, is what I'm saying. He doesn't go into his Dragon Force form, but all he really has to do is, I think he can do a higher, like, Blood Dragon wing attack straight at the ground, destroying the stadium again. Just freaking send Ida outside of it. I mean, it's that simple. Ida is based on speed, not durability. So, Izuku wins that pretty easily. Bakugo versus Tokiyami, same, except Bakugo is more powerful. Now, Bakugo versus Izuku. This is pretty simple. Really, it's it goes the same way as Todoroki, except Izuku is much more worn out and tired from the battle with Todoroki, as he used up a lot of energy, a lot more than he thought he would have, to beat Todoroki. Todoroki defied his expectations. So when he's going with Bakugo, who the fuck? Oh, he's telling me. Still really looking forward to. How you know he's going to have a Logia type fruit is beyond me. That's spoilers for that's spoilers for that. Those of you who don't know about that, I made a comment to the wizard on one of my videos. So if you've seen that comment, you know what I'm talking about. If you've seen that comment thread, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, then you don't know this spoiler. But I'm not going to say anything more than that. I'll leave that to your speculation in the comments section. Or my Discord, which I do have a Discord. It's just there if you want to speculate on my videos, if you really want to. Or just to hang out. I don't really care. I don't have friends. So if you want to be my friend, please. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, but I don't have many friends. I'm introverted at heart, man. Anyway, back to this. So it's pretty equal. Both of them are putting out as much force. Izuku could be doing better, but he's, hasn't had the time to regain his energy yet. Regain all that stamina he just wasted during the fight with Todoroki, instead of just using a different form and obliterating him. And he actually tried to stay in his human form for the entire match. Now Bakugo's trying to get him is actually holding back as well, trying to get Izuku to transform. And he's not going to use his 100% until Izuku transforms, but Izuku isn't going to transform, and Izuku is, it's just like... However, Izuku is still going to lose if he doesn't transform, because, well, lack of energy. So Izuku's like, okay, I just gotta get into one big blast, but that means I have to transform if I want to do anything stronger than what I'm doing right now. It's like this mental dilemma, like, do I not? And, Kirishima gets up from the stands and, tells him what he told her when they were training, which is, you can't get stronger if you're not using 100%. And technically speaking, he's not. So Izuku's thinking he's getting stronger because he's using 100% of his human form. But at the same time, he's not going to get stronger in the other forms. Sure, there's still going to be a multiplier, but will he be able to control said power beyond him? So he's not really getting stronger, he's getting weaker. You see what I'm saying? If you can't control it, then it's not really your power, is it? So it's like, fuck, even my girlfriend thinks I'm being stupid. So, he transforms, and with one deep inhale, I mean deep inhale, now Bakugo is going up and charging up his howitzer impact, which is what he used on Todoroki in the canon, I believe. And he just goes, Blood Dragon Roar! That was cringy as fuck, but hey, that's anime for you. Yeah, so, that just happened. And Bakugo lets his howitzer impact at the same time, except Izuku in this form, still 4 times stronger than he is in human form. That's fucking blasting Bakugo away, man. Like, his howitzer impact, yeah, that does, like, lower the amount of attack power it has, but that's still hitting him with a lot of force, with at least the amount of force he would have in his human form. Bakugo's going flying. He's definitely going to survive and would still be able to fight after taking a hit that powerful, because that's just Bakugo for you. But he is outside of the stadium, and therefore Izuku wins. And so Izuku ends up winning, blah 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 blah, getting the most out of it. Now what Izuku does is he's actually going to take an internship with Ryukyu, I think it's how you pronounce her hero name. Basically, he's going to take his hero internship with her, and I don't know where her agency is, but for the sake of this, I'm going to say it's in Hosu. So basically, they asked for their hero names. For now, we're just going to call him Ryu. But in the future, when I figure out the Japanese word for blood, we'll incorporate it into that name somewhere. Yeah. So basically, he does his training with Ryukyu, and he does it in his dragon form. So this is really more for Ryukyu than it is for him, because he's not really getting as much out of it as Ryukyu is. She's getting much more powerful because she's fighting an actual dragon. And here's what I'm going to say, is that because of fighting a literal dragon, her quirk kind of mutates and evolves in a way. Not like a Pokemon, no. But she looks much more draconic-like. She loses all of her human features while in her dragon form. Because she kind of has this, like, somewhat human features in her dragon form, and I think it just makes the dragon look ugly. Don't get me wrong, she's a beautiful, beautiful woman, but in the dragon form, that's just, don't put the human forms in there. So, no, it's gone. And it kind of, like, this power that she's, like, coming in contact with Izuku, it becomes more and more, present, let's say. It mutates her, and she becomes more draconic, more of a red dragon, I'll say. Not a crimson dragon, which would be much more of a blood dragon. But in this case, this is a what's the word? A transformation of some sort. She becomes a fire dragon. She can now breathe fire, all that good that you see of a normal dragon. So basically, she can use, she can encase her talons and her wings, and she could do what a dragon can do with their flames in fairy tale universe, basically. So what you see Igneel doing, she could do that, but to a lesser scale, and cause a lot less destruction with it. She cannot do it in human form. And she cannot do it in human form. So that's only for her dragon form, but she is much more powerful and will rise through the ranks quicker. And plus, she's already in the top 10, but she'll get higher. If you get what I'm saying. So this did a lot more for Ryukyu than it did for Izuku, which is why she's even happier that she asked for Izuku to, go for her agency, and that he actually did. Hiroshima still goes to Fat Gum's agency, and still discovers Red Riot Unbreakable, blah 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 blah. You get what I'm saying? Now we get to the Hosu incident. Now, Izuku, in this form, obviously, is going around. He's obviously there when it all happens, and so he goes around trying to get people out of dangerous situations, because that's what Ryukyu told him to do, to not fight, since he doesn't technically have his hero license yet, and wouldn't be able to actually, it would be breaking the law. So, that whole thing. So what happens is Izuku's just going around and flying and saving people. Because he can use his quirk to do that, since he's technically a hero in training, but he's not allowed to use it to harm other people, if you get what I'm saying. So he goes and he finds Stain, basically, about to kill Ida, so he just does a blood dragon thing straight to Stain's face. And Stain's a pretty sturdy guy, even if he looks frail as fuck. Because, let's be honest, he does not look like he has any sort of muscle at all. Like, barely enough muscle to, move around. At least from what I can remember. I haven't watched this part of the anime in a while. But he is a pretty sturdy guy. But he does look sickly, let's be honest. He does look a bit sickly. But he does get back up, because he's the kind of person who keeps getting up no matter how injured he is. The dialogue from there goes pretty much the same, except Todoroki never shows up. And whenever Stain cuts him, he's just getting more power to fucking attack him with, you know what I'm saying? He's using the blood like daggers and throwing them at Stain, he's crystallizing it and then throwing them at Stain like daggers, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard for Stain to actually lick it without getting cut himself, you know what I'm saying? So instead of him paralyzing Izuku, he's just getting fucking cut up from the inside. You see what I'm saying? So this fight for Stain, that's just not a good matchup. Stain's quirk relies on him licking blood, and Izuku's quirk relies on him fucking manipulating the shit out of it. So yeah, in the end, Izuku wins, and other pro heroes show up and take him away, as Izuku just heals Ida and Native, I believe it was, of their wounds. Now, the rescue training race, as I said before, Izuku speed in his dragon form. So, dragon form, boom, done. Human form, I win. That's basically Izuku's mindset here. And it's not wrong. That's how it happens. So, yeah. Izuku definitely wins. Finals exams arc. Pretty sure Kirishima and Sato won against Cementos. If they didn't, they do in this, because Kirishima's training with Izuku. Pretty sure Ida and Ojiro won against Powerloader, but in case I'm wrong, they win in this. Yaoyorozu and Todoroki. Let's just say Izuku noticed her reaction after she lost at the sports festival and talked to her about it. And said, things like, you do realize that you can only gain from a loss, right? And unless you refuse to learn from it, you can still gain and come out on top. And she's like, well, how would you know? Oh, you always win. And then he looks at her and says, just straight up says, the person who I trained with for this power, I never won once against her. She consistently beat my into the dirt. I never even came close to winning against her once. And if I did, it was because she was holding back on me. She was stronger than All Might. One could call her level of power godly. I've lost more times to her than I care to count. So yes, I do know what it's like to lose. And I know what it's like to gain from that loss. And you should too. So, she's kind of more in a mindset and more confident, so they win much faster. Now that I think about it, I think the Todo-Momo ship comes from this pairing of Todoroki and Yaoyorozu against Eraserhead. I'm pretty sure that's where it originates from. If it's not, then I don't know, because that's where it originates from for me. Before Ashido and Kaminari go up against Nezu, Izuku goes up to them and says, look, you two, Nezu's extremely smart. Not as smart as me, but extremely smart. Because for those who don't know, in this, Nezu's IQ in all of my what ifs is going to be like 245 to 250, unless I say otherwise. But in this, Izuku's IQ at this point is around 280. It's pretty fucking high IQ, just saying. So Izuku says, if I know Nezu, which I'm pretty sure I do, he's going to leave one pathway open for you guys. Then it's probably going to be the farthest away from you. Just letting you know. So, in the end, what ends up happening with that one is using that information given to them by Izuku, even though very minimal, they end up getting out and succeeding, and therefore they win and pass their test. Yeah. He goes up to Mineta and Sero, and he just, before they go up against Midnight, and they're like, Izuku, you need something? He just slaps both of them and says, don't be perverts, just close your eye. Just close your eyes, you two need to cover each other, make sure the other one doesn't do anything stupid. Got it? Okay, good. Because he says, if you fail, I will personally make you fight me in my dragon form until you get it through your thick skulls. Not to be stupid. This scares both of them into submission. And they don't do anything stupid. And both Sero and Mineta end up winning, since Sero doesn't get captured, being too afraid of what the Izuku's gonna do to them in his fucking dragon form during their quote-unquote training. And then we have Midoriya and Bakugo against All Might. All the pairings are the same because simplicity. Anyway, so during his fight with All Might, Izuku All Might has been getting stronger because stockpiling quirk, and he hasn't given it to anybody, and having been completely healed, now no longer has any sort of skinny form at all. He's back to full strength, full All Might. What's going on is, during that time in which he was wounded, One For All was still stockpiling more power, so he's even more powerful than before. So now it's the new Prime All Might, you know what I'm saying? What's gonna happen is, his wound by now, it's nothing but a freaking, scar. It's basically skin-colored scar, it's fading, basically. While all the wounds inside are completely 100% healed, his wound is, there's still the scar on the outside, but the scar is fading. And so what's going to happen is we're going to have Izuku going into this form and fighting All Might at full power. Bakugo is trying to get in, but whenever he does, he's just blown away by both of their attacks. The teachers are unimpressed by Izuku's display of power, as he's not showing any sort of teamwork, but at the same time, holy fucking shit, that's fucking All Might. Izuku's going up against him while holding back, though they don't know he's holding back yet. But he's holding back in this form, and he's still, holding his own against All Might, without any trouble, not even a sweat being had here. He's just going up against All Might, using his full strength. All Might has taken off all the weights already, because he knew he was gonna need to take them off when he took on this man. You know what I'm saying? Izuku isn't a kid. He's a fucking adult at this point. He learned life before he should have learned life, you know what I'm saying? He's had to go through some shit, running away from home, the discrimination of society. He's had to go through all of that, by the time he was fucking 5, you know what I'm saying? Or was it 6, But by the time he was 10, he fucking learned all of that, you know what I'm saying? So he's much more of an adult than, some adults. So, yeah. So, it was just you know what? I'm ending this here, right? And just does a fucking blood dragon jaw, but he only uses one half of the jaw, so instead of it coming together and fucking crushing All Might, just does one, and it sends All Might fucking flying through several fucking buildings. It's okay, Bakugo, you want to turn? And then he just goes heading towards the fucking exit. And as Bakugo's just what the how? Fuck you! So when All Might comes back, he gets distracted with Bakugo, which Bakugo is also on the strength of All Might with his explosions, and All Might is actually quite surprised that Bakugo is this strong, saying, "Young Bakugo, I didn't know you were this powerful." Well, but before he says, but it seems you still don't know the meaning of the words plus ultra, as he just fucking goes beyond 100%, which technically, if we're speaking here, is physically impossible. His 100%, he's going beyond his limit, not beyond 100%, because it's physically impossible to go above 100%, but I digress. Sending Bakugo flying, before Bakugo can get back, All Might tries to rush to the exit before Izuku can leave, only to see that Izuku just took the final step over the exit, as he was just standing there waiting for them to finish their fight before he took the final step, winning the match. So, in the end, Izuku wins. Izuku and Bakugo win, both of them having a chance to demonstrate that they are as strong as All Might. And everybody else saying, holy fucking shit, how are both of them as strong as in All Might? You know what I'm saying? And Kirishima just pipes up saying, "It's Izuku. Like, no, even if you don't like him, he just has this aura about him that makes you wanna be stronger. He just gives that encouragement. Whether you know him or not, or whether he knows you or not, whether he likes you or he doesn't like you, he gives this energy that makes you want to become stronger and stronger. You know what I'm saying? It just that kind of person that inspires everyone around him, even when he's not trying to inspire them. And everyone's all like, yeah, maybe we should have him be a teacher here, because we're gonna get a lot more quality heroes if he is. So you know what that means. So eventually, that will happen. Eventually he'll become the teacher for the heroics course. Heroics 101 eventually. But that's far off into the future. Anyway, the Two Heroes movie incident, so the Island. Basically, Izuku goes with Kirishima to Island, and they go on a nice little date, you know what I'm saying? And then they meet everybody that went to Island will say did go to Island. For simplicity's sake. So they're all there, at Island, and Izuku is going to get some flashes of his previous lives, of what happened on Island. So he fucking goes off from his date with Kirishima, and Kirishima doesn't know what's going on, so she goes to All Might, which she knows is there, and is with the rest of the kids that are there, and tells them that Izuku just disappeared, and then they go and follow where he went, where Kirishima said he went, and they just find him sitting on a top of a bunch of knocked out people. They aren't dead, but they're knocked out, and they're just unconscious, and they're just there. All their weapons are like in a corner somewhere, and Izuku's just sitting on them, playing on his phone. He's like, "Oh, you got here. Cool, thanks." And like, young Izuku, I know you're powerful, but you didn't have to use your quirk, but you're not allowed to use your quirk on them. And he's like, I didn't. They were just weak. He's like, I didn't. I just used raw brute strength, and these idiots just like. It's like they didn't even try, Anyway, I have their plans here for what they were trying to steal or something. He gives them to, what's his face? And he gives them the All Might, and, it's like, and he sees that what they were trying to do, and blah, 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 blah. They find out about the whole all for one thing, and guess what? Guess what? They didn't even get the chance to raid, so everyone just has a peaceful time from there on out. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. So let's get to the forest training camp arc, and I'm just gonna get to a point where I can cliffhanger you all. I'm not sorry. Basically, what happens is basically this is the forest in which Izuku trained in. So basically what happens is they go and blah blah blah, everything goes to canon. They're going through the forest. They actually get there on time, and because Izuku just fucking can blow down the fucking forest, just like, yep, this way. Deforestation. No, but seriously, they make it through, and they meet Koda. Koda tries to punch Izuku in the nethers. Izuku just catches his fist, and he's like, "You try that again, I will throw you over there." And he points to the fucking sun. like, kid, I don't, like, I try to be a nice person, but if you want to fuck with me, I will fuck with you too. I will fucking throw you into the fucking sun. You understand me? Like, you don't, look, Izuku's a lot more, you know, confident in this, so you want to fucking punch him in the fucking balls? Like, you don't do that to a man and get away with it. And Izuku's pretty much a fucking man at this point. He's like, yeah, you want to fucking punch me there? I won't hesitate to throw hands with a child. You know what I'm saying? Any child abuse if he's not an adult, you know what I'm saying? Like, if the child picks the fight with the grown-ass man, you know, any guy would say that he had a reason if the child punched him in the balls, you know what I'm saying? And if you're a guy who says that it's still not right, you haven't been punched in the balls. That shit hurts. Some guys would arguably say that it's as painful as pregnancy. I personally don't think it's that painful, nor could I actually say that it's nearly as painful. And to the woman out there who would agree with that, you can't say anything either, as you don't know what it's like. You also don't know what it's like to pass a kidney stone. Neither do I. I've never had to do that. I don't have health problems that way. I actually have enough nutrients in my diet that I don't get kidney stones, thankfully. Shit. Yeah, so let's just agree that neither of the guys or the girls can say shit about that. You know what I'm saying? Now, guys, we can't say anything about how painful it is to be pregnant, and girls, you can't say anything about how painful it is to get kicked in the balls, or hit in the balls in any way, shape, or form. Anyway, moving on. So what ends up happening is, instead of the League of Villains attacking, instead they're still regrouping and training and getting more power, basically, is what they're trying to do. They're not going to attack the training camp, as they know that that one kid is definitely more powerful than All Might by all means, and they need to be a lot more powerful in order to do it, so they don't attack the training camp. So they don't end up attacking the training camp. However, what does end up happening and hear me out on this. The portal is now big enough for a human to fit through. So what ends up happening is this woman comes through. Do you know who this woman is? No, you don't? This is Vladika in her human form. Uh-huh. And she's a bloody mess. She's... For some reason, her powers aren't working. And she's not healing. And she has an egg, which she gives to Izuku right before a heavily tanned figure walks out with these blue markings, saying, "All dragons must be purged from the world." If you haven't guessed it yet, this is Acner Logia. And as Vladika literally bleeds to death because Dragon Slayer magic, dragon cancels out dragon powers or healing ability, dragon dead. So she ends up dying, sadly, in Izuku's arms. Now everyone else is there to see this and like, what the fuck is going on? And Izuku goes into a fucking rage as 10 fucking dragon wings come out of his fucking back. You know, the skin around his eyes turns to scales. His pupils freaking become like slits, like draconic eyes. His eyes become a deeper, more blood, more crimson red. The scales appear on his forearms and his legs. And he's just ready to go off. And that's where I'm going to end this part of What If Deku was a dragon slayer. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you guys are gonna get into this new fight scene that's gonna happen in the next part. I know I am. And I hope you also like that he's going to be getting a cat's... whatever the Cappy's race is, he's getting one of those. I don't know what it's called, okay? But yeah, he's going to be getting one of those. That's what the egg's for. Yeah. Hope y'all enjoy. This is Blazing What Ifs. Blazing away.